Hello, Scorpio. How are you? It is me, Lauren B. Welcome to the Untitled Tarot. So, this week, we have done your read with the Mystical Dream Tarot. I've laid out your cards. Not everybody got that this week. Some people got them live. Some people got them laid out. We just used this deck for a Capricorn. I love this deck. I don't use it as much as I should. Maybe that's something for you, that there's something, an aspect of your skills, your abilities, or something inside of yourself that you're not pulling out. You're not using it as much as you should, Scorpio. You have 10 cards in your read, technically 11, with the card on the bottom of the deck. 11 as an angel number talks about spiritual awakenings and enlightenment. So I feel like a heavy work energy for you. This is all general, so this could play out in relationships, family, friends, but it feels very much related to work for you. That in something that you're doing, that you're working on, your profession, your career, there's a sense that there is a leveling up for you to do. There is an ascension happening perhaps for you, some kind of enlightenment, another wave of awakening that you are about to go through that perhaps are giving you a heads up on now. So you can kind of get a head start on that. So that way you can meet it. So let's get into it, Scorpio. The first card that you have out is the Five of Wands, and you have it followed up by the Lady of Cups. The imagery speaks so much more in this deck than the actual suits, but here you are. Five of Wands, kind of out there in the brinks, in the barracks, to say, right? And here you are in the big sea, and you're fishing, big fish. You're trying to catch a big fish, Scorpio, and fish often represent flow, abundance, money. So I think whatever you're doing perhaps is very lucrative, right? There's a big landscape for you. There's a lot of different ways that you can go and sail around this. I am very drawn to these two moons over here. So I think that all of this is happening in between these two moon cycles that we're in. Speaking of the last full moon that we just had on the 2nd, and the new moon in Libra represents justice. I understand now. That's coming in on the 16th. So from the 2nd to the 16th, that's 2 weeks. So this last week and a half moving into this next half week, I think is really fundamental for you. I think there are a lot of realizations that you are going to be having throughout this time. So like I said, you're out here, you're working. I'm almost getting the story in my head of when Jesus went out with one of the disciples in the boat. And he was like, but I can't, we've been out here all day and we can't catch any fish. And Jesus was like, cast your nets again. And so it's like, here you are. It's like you're going for this big fish. You're going for this abundance. You're trying to reel in all of this money for yourself. But then you have out this Lady of Cups right afterwards. It actually looks like, is it like this? How's it on my board? Where are you? I try and do it because the camera's flipped. And it's almost like, I see this as spirit a little bit. Sort of, whoa, Scorpio, where do you think you're going? Where are you catching all these fish? And see, there are more fish over here behind spirit. That would make 3. Trinity, the divine, right? And it's almost like maybe you feel a downward trajectory in your work. Things aren't coming in. It feels like you're working really hard, but you're not potentially seeing the progress that you want. However, it does feel like you've made a lot of waves. You've made a lot of waves so far. You've already, because you have this fish. It's like your lines are pretty much right there. It's like you got it already, but it's like you're still kind of looking out on the horizon for what's next, like what's more. And here's spirit sort of like saying, no. And what I'm seeing right here, it's like this bowl, and I'm hearing, where's the offering? Where is the offering? And with all of these roses, one, they're white. So I'm hearing like, what's the intention? Like pure intention. What is the pure intention behind the work that you're doing? But also these, because they're white, I'm also getting like cold roses, like left out in the cold. Like somehow you've left spirit a little bit out in the cold. You've forgotten perhaps, or just have been so caught up, busy in gaining this flow, this abundance, money, whatever it is for yourself, that it's like you forgot where it came from. There's an energy. It could be vice versa or flipped. Energy is very general. It's very fluid. But somebody forgot where these blessings were coming from, and there's no offering. And there's a lack of a purity of intention behind whatever kind of work, whatever you're trying to catch over here. For the sake of the reading, we're going to say that it's you. And it could just be very caught up in the 3D of the work, right? The fine details, the devil's in the details. I'm getting, right? Scheduling, planning, saving. I'm seeing like bank accounts, like bank statements, the statements, something like that. And meanwhile, Spirit's kind of over here a little bit like, whoa, like you want more, but it's like you didn't even thank us for what we gave you to begin with. Like you need to put something on the altar, So maybe there's a prayer altar that you have or that you need. It could be like, I'm getting some ancestral energy too. Like you're not speaking to your ancestors, like kind of thanking them for the blessings, right? Because okay, let's go there, Spirit. So, think your lineage, all of your ancestors that have come and they have gone, like they worked really hard. They had promises and blessings that were promised to them that perhaps they were not able to see in their 3D lifespan for whatever reason. Maybe timing wasn't there. Maybe the technology was there. Maybe, they said no when they should have said yes to God in certain areas. So there's like a surplus of abundance in your lineage for you, not just, from God. It all comes from God, but a lot of it's like from your ancestors as well. And it feels like they got you in this boat. They got you out in the sea. They got you these nets and these lines and these fish, the abundance, the flow, the money, the whole thing. And it's like you kind of got a little caught up in it. And now they're like, whoa, wait, like where's our offering? Like where's our platter? Where's our thank you, right? It's like you want these other 3 fishes, but or these other 2, the 3 would make divinity. But it's like there's, because of a lack of a purity of intention of whoever is out here in this boat, right? And there is someone else like over here, which is interesting because it's like you're out here looking, but it's almost like there's someone else here with you, helping you. Perhaps you have help as well, somebody that's doing a lot of the heavy lifting for you that perhaps you're not acknowledging, like that perhaps someone just through this is being a certain amount of emotional support for you just through this process, and you're not acknowledging how much of a support system they really are for you throughout this. I'm picking that up as a side note, as a side story as well, but there's no offering. And they're like, no, like you don't go any farther, you don't go like $200, you don't get these other 2 fish unless you put something on the plate for us. Next out, you have the Lady of Swords, and I'm hearing like mad scientist. And it's like, here you are, brainstorming, right? It's like all of this knowledge up here, this firepower. Mars is in retrograde in Aries right now. And it's like, it's almost going down like goggles, like binoculars or like laboratory goggles. And it's like your head is like a Bunsen burner. It's like you have all these ideas, you have all this passion, you have all this excitement. It's like you're really hungry for these fish, right? To keep it going, and here you are again, masterminding. I have these ideas. We could do it like this. We could do it like that. And you have it followed up by the 7 of Wands. I love this deck so much because of the artistry on here is chef's kiss. And here you go. It's like a castle, right? It's like you're brainstorming. It's like how to build your empire. It feels like how to build the empire, this mad scientist, Dexter's Laboratory kind of energy. But the thing that strikes me so much about this card, and it's like, where the hell is everybody? Is this a library? There's no books. It almost looks like a chapel, but it's like, where's the bride and groom? Where are the guests? Where are the people? It's like an empty house. It's almost hearing like hollow victories. It's like, you're brainstorming, you're working your ass off, you're doing all this stuff, you're looking out for more, trying to come up with new ideas on how to get more, instead of almost like turning to source and being like, what do you want me to do? Where do you want to take this? It's like almost leaving spirit out of the co-creation, trying to build this empire, brainstorming, right? But meanwhile, it's like you have an empty house. It's like an empire with nothing in it. And what is so fascinating to me is right here in this big steeple, right? I don't know how well you could see it in my phone camera, but that looks like a sand dollar to me. You see? It looks like a sand dollar. And the thing about sand dollars is sand dollars are very fragile. So there could be an aspect of this project, this new job, whatever you're working on, that feels very kind of fragile to you. But sand dollars actually like survive in quite a harsh climate. So they're actually much more resilient than people give them credit for. But the thing, there's this myth, whatever, the story behind sand dollars that when you crack them in the middle, five doves, we're close, Lauren, you're close. 5 doves break out of them and spread peace on earth. That's like the mythology also behind sand dollars, that it's a sense of if you actually crack into the center of your project, what you feel to be very kind of fragile, you'll find that in fact it is more resilient than you think. However, the main point of it is to spread peace on earth. Again, it's going back to this intention of like, why are you doing what you're doing? Like, why are you out here getting these fish? Where's the thanks? Where's the offering? Like, what is your intention behind what you're doing so far before we let you go any farther? You're brainstorming to build your empire, but what's it for? It's like we say, you know, when people try and manifest money, like spirit doesn't cash checks unless you fill out the memo line. It's like, what's the money for? What's the empire for? What are you building? And again, it's like peace on earth. It's that intention. Have you lost like sight of why you started this job? Like, have you lost sight of why you wanted to start this new training program? Why you wanted to go into business for yourself? Why you switched companies? Like, what is that? Because then you have it followed up by Mott. This is justice. This is the justice card. Mott represents justice, harmony, and truth. And her arms are often depicted as wings. But meanwhile, her wings are not where her arms would be. They're like on her back. It's like behind her. It's like your wings are behind you. It's like her arms are like tied behind her back. It's like justice. It's like you want the extra 2 fish because it feels like justice for you because you're brainstorming and working really hard. It feels like, oh shit, these look like 2 eyes. I didn't see that before. These look like 2 eyes coming out of the sky, almost like that dragon card in the animal deck. Yeah, it's like spirit, again, like looking at you, looking over your empire and noticing, trying to call out to you, almost through like the wind picking up, being like, you notice no one else is here, right? Like you didn't invite anyone else to the party, and Justice is sitting here with their arms behind her back. It's like the Lady of Cups being like, no farther. Because then you have out the Dream Protector and you have out Judgment in reverse, which for me, personally, I'm feeling it's like spirit, justice energy coming in and saying, no, like, we're not going to protect this dream and we can't pass favorable judgment on this project because you've lost sight of the purity of the intention in which you started it. The problem is not with the project. It's the way that you're working on it. It's the way that you're going about it is what I'm saying. And I am noticing that it's like, again, it's like water. There's all this water energy, fish, Pisces. It's like flow, abundance, flow, your emotional body. It's like your heart's not in it. There's something about, again, it's like cold roses. Like your heart's not in what you're doing for whatever reason. And I don't think it's because you actually don't care about what you're doing. I think if you didn't care about what you were doing, you wouldn't be sitting here like brainstorming and being so passionate and trying to build something bigger than you. But I think that we're losing perhaps sight. And again, energy could be vice versa or flip. This could be somebody that's like very heavily connected to your force field. That the thing that's bigger, the bigger thing that we're trying to do is connect with spirit. Like you come from spirit. We're all extensions of creation. That's why it's a co-creation. It's like, it really is fascinating. So the problem is not really the thing that you're working on. It's I think that you just got so caught up in like the details. Again, the devil's in the details of the nitty gritty of how to actually get it done, that I think you forgot, you lost a little bit of sight on why you were doing it to begin with. So I think, again, it's like, she's like, hold up there. Justice is like, and again, Libra season's coming in. We're about to have a full moon. Libra season starts the 22nd, master number. This is a lesson that we're needing to master right now. And again, with the card on the bottom of the deck, it is 11. 11 is another master number. So it's like 2 levels, right? 11 doubled up is 22. So it's we're activating, we're ascending up, right? And we are in Mars retrograde in Aries, which is a little bit of like the death of the masculine right now. So again, that's that output energy, a little bit of like a halt on how you're outputting, right? That fiery Aries energy of that emperor energy. It's like sitting the emperor down and being like, no, sit down. Like, why are we even building this empire to begin with? So like, we're going to put our hands behind our back. We're going to halt your ships a little bit right now until you can kind of get a hold on why you're doing this. Because it's not the problem with the project. The problem is why you're doing the project to begin with. Like your heart, cold roses. It's like your heart's not in it for some reason because you're getting so caught up in the details of it. And again, it's like these little fish, and it's like they're swimming away from this couple right here. Again, couple. There's something about this other person in the boat too. There might be somebody that's helping you sort through some of this stuff, helping you do paperwork. Maybe they're doing heavy lifting for you. Maybe they're just an emotional with all of this water everywhere support system for you, and perhaps they're not getting the acknowledgement too. Again, it could just be your ancestors. Again, it's like there's nothing being offered. There's no the word that I want to use, what is this? What is happening to me? The word is, maybe it's not offering, but it's like blessing others. Maybe you're not blessing others in the way that you're being blessed, or you're not being thankful. Someone's not being thankful enough. There's like a lack of appreciation for something, people in the 3D, but also spiritually as well. But moving on, after that, we have that immediately followed up by Temperance. This is sitting the Emperor down a little bit and being like, there, Scorpio, like, it's gonna be okay. Like, we just need to calm you down a little bit. It's almost like you're going 1,000,000 miles per minute. It's like I'm speaking really fast, and it's like, we need to slow it down. Like, we need to balance out why you're doing what you're doing, because what you're doing is really good, but it's like your heart's not in it because you're so wrapped up in like the money of it, or the status or something like that, building the empire. But do you want a castle that no one else lives in? Do you want a feast that no one else can share with you, right? And it's like, here you are trying to balance that energy, again, between these two moon cycles. And here you have your water bear. So water bear, Aquarius. So kind of coming back to the root of like the star, the dream, why we wanted to do this. We are in Virgo season. So kind of plants again, tending to your rose garden, right? Because these roses are red, right? Your heart is back in it. By sitting down and calming down and kind of taking a reassessment of why you're doing what you're doing, what the whole point of this job, of this career change, whatever this project, whatever it is for you, what the whole point of it was to begin with, you will find that you will, I think, calm down a lot of that fear and a lot of that anxiety, a lot of that like rat race. It's like a rat race energy. It will help dispel it a little bit for you, and in doing that, your roses will turn red, and you will have such a garden to offer. And this water bearer suddenly becomes like a sack for me, and I see you kind of digging up some of these roses and being able to put them in your little satchel, and then have something to put on this altar for your ancestors, for God, right? Even if it's just a simplification of yourself, like you just offer yourself as a vessel, right? You offer yourself as a vessel, as like, here I am, like, work through me, Holy Spirit, like, tell me this is a co-creation. So like, I know what I want to do. I know like the ideas that I have, like, I know what my end goal is, but what's your end goal? How do you want me to do it? Like, what do you think how do you think this should transform? Being able to co-create with Spirit more, putting your heart back in whatever it is that you're working on, and being able to also warm up yourself a little bit. And I feel like also warm up to others a little bit, because you won't feel like so competitive, because the Five of Wands can be also a very competitive energy as well. And then you have out the Four of Swords. So again, it's like rest, relax, and think they want you to take a little bit of perhaps like a time out. Maybe time off. Maybe you need to take like a weekend off or something like that. But it's really like, again, it's this reassessment energy to balance yourself out. I don't know if you're going to be able to do it surrounded by too many other people in the rat race. I don't know if that will work for you, because it's just going to be a reminder that like you're not doing something that you should be doing. And it's like, no. What is meant to be yours will always be yours. You don't need to keep up with the Joneses, right? Nobody wants a house with no one in it. You have a lot of ideas. You have a lot of passion. You have a lot of spiritual support, right? You have justice on your side. But we need to temper ourselves, put our heart back in our work. And I think when you're able to do that, probably leading up to this new moon, right, which is about setting new intentions. Full moons are for releasing. New moons are for setting new intentions, to be able to go forth, to continue on your path in a new energy, a higher activation, vibration, being able to have mastered this lesson. It's like, what's that Black Eyed Peas song, Where is the Love? Where is the love, right? And I think in doing so and taking a little bit of a time out for yourself, you will get it, like I said in the beginning, a realization, an actualization, a download straight to your crown. And that will reverberate back into the water, right? And it's almost like once that happens, I almost see it's like the electricity hits the water and the fish just kind of rise up naturally to the surface. Because when we are in proper vibration, with our own alignment, with what really is for us, not out of scarcity mindset, not out of competition, not out of jealousy, not out of like trying to feel like we need to get on top, not having to do that just because like this is who I am and this is the work that brings me purpose, right? Feeling fulfilled in our purpose, regardless of what it looks like to anyone else. It's like our abundance, our flow, our blessings, it just naturally rises to the surface to meet us. And I think you'll get that download when it comes in. And you have it followed up by the Divine Tower. So I think part of this realization, this actualization for you, it might be for some of you, it might be that perhaps you don't really want to be doing what you were doing. Perhaps it just seems like lucrative. Maybe it just seems like a good idea when you first started doing it, but you might come to realize that it's not actually as fulfilling to you as you thought it was, right? It's not as intellectually stimulating to you as you thought it was. Or for others of you, I'm getting that part of the realization or actualization that you may realize is that part of the reason why it's not feeling fulfilling to you right now. Like, why am I putting in all of this work to this thing and I feel like I'm not even having any fun? It's because you realize that you let yourself get caught up in the rat race, and so you took some of your heart out of it, and that might be it. And part of the tower, the realization, this divine intervention you might be experiencing is also that moving forward, continuing with you, this passion project, this job, this career, whatever it is that you're working on, that there's a new way. There's a new way for you to go about it, right? And then look, it's like there's like another moon in your mouth. What happens after? The 24th is a quarter moon in Capricorn. Capricorn's a planter. So that might be it for you as well. The 24th, 6, so that's 8. Yeah, so after the full moon, there might be like a week and a half the full moon, the new moon, that might be when you kind of finally decide to take a rest, kind of have this actualization, realization. That part of the reason why you're not having as much fun with this is because like you kind of took the fun out of it for yourself. You made it too much of work and kind of took the purpose and the passion out of it. And then come the quarter moon in Capricorn, you might realize that there might be a new way to go about doing this that will create the stability and the security and the flow and the abundance that you want, but coming from a place that's like more open-hearted, that allows things to flow in and out of you. Because at the bottom of the deck, you have the 9 of Pentacles in reverse as well. So it's like whatever this is, like I said, I don't feel like it's what you're doing, it's how you're doing it. It's not bringing you your wish fulfillment. It's not bringing you as much happiness as it should for the amount, like the cost benefit ratio is all off in this thing, because the amount of time, effort, energy, attention that you're putting into this, you're not getting the same amount of joy, excitement, fulfillment, purpose out of it. And I think it's just because you're getting too caught up in the details. So Spirit is just like, no, wait a second. Let's go in and temper ourselves, realize why we're doing this to begin with. Let's take a minute to ourselves. Let's rest. Let's recharge our batteries, right? It's like getting this electric charge, this solar panel in. And when that happens, you're going to realize how to move a little bit differently in this. And then your flow and your abundance is going to rise up to the surface and it's going to meet you. So that's pretty badass altogether. We all do it. We all get caught up we all get lost in the sauce, Scorpio. I'm guilty of it myself. So it looks like it's all going to work out really well for you. The moon cycles and Mars retrograde is getting you a little bit. It's getting a lot of good men. It's getting a lot of good men right now. So I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you guys spending time and energy over here with me in the Beehive. I love you endlessly. So all of the information you should need from me will be in the description box. So my email for personals, my Insta, my Twitter, all my socials, all the decks that I own and use in the whole wide world, they're all linked in there. Thank you for subscribing and liking and being here. You guys are just the best. And my cups runneth over for you every single day. 8 days a week, like a Beatles song, okay? So I love you, Scorpio. Take care of yourself. I will see you very soon. Your morning messages are out. Enjoy. Goodbye.